Okay, we're doing it live. It's Tucson Dropsite thing, episode 9.1, because I just threw up a test thing so I didn't sound like a squirrel. It kind of worked. I believe it worked. Joining us today is Shaggy, Ethan, disembodied. We can't even see Shaggy, but disembodied floating arm of Shaggy. Ethan, Dave, the mysterious I'm eating pizza hat. Cassandra knows more about lore than everybody else because it's dangerous. Don't get in arguments. The disembodied floating arm of Woody. Miss Hat, who is hiding and refuses to be seen on air. And
the wisest of all.
She's like Bigfoot,
and all
just
the BattleTech
accounts only.
Yeah, and all the BattleTech players back there. BattleTech. So the last episode, we did get some comments. Those comments were like, hey, you sound like Squirrel Nightmare, because we did. Yay! I'm sorry, the audio went complete butts and butts and butts and butts. So I'm not running audio out of that camera. I'm running out of this thing. It's not a camera. That is a camera. I'm irritable. So hopefully it works. I'm going to try not to yell at it.
Did you take your Geritol?
Huh?
Geritol.
It came with my retirement check. Jeez. Okay. So, today we're talking about Space Wolves Codex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but the Codex is cute. It's fancy. Pretty.
It's shiny.
So, we have Space Wolf player, obviously, Ethan. We have other Space Wolf players in the house, however, they are busy doing other things. Ethan, initial impressions, since it matters, because you're a Space Barf players.
Initial impressions, we got, our points cost came in line with the rest of the codexes, which means we got a lot of drops in points for a lot of our weapons and a lot of our upgrades. They gave us a lot of extra options that are insane to think about when you start coming up with army lists. They gave us a lot more options for a lot of power lists, and they took away a little bit of our fluff. But I think it's actually a good codex.
Yep. I'd like to point out that the fluff that they had, there's a planet called Midgardia. Right next to Fenris. Midgardia.
Guard's the middle.
There's also like Frostheim.
Yeah, Frostheim's.
Battleguard.
Mjolnir.
I mean, props to them this time for focusing on the whole Viking thing rather than Wolf of the Wolf.
Yeah, well, you mean team?
I love the fact that a 1,000-sun incursion tried to take Fenris.
Yep.
Did you not know that before?
No, it's actually listed in here now on the actual map. It's actually got the path the 1,000 suns took to get to Fenris.
Nice.
That's cute. They do talk about the companies of the Fang. Notice this big dumb black mark that's always there. Guess what that is? 13th Company. They
Yeah,
do,
our poor
See a
Wolfen.
supplement for it somewhere.
They-
Backed up the timeline. Give them a break.
Yeah.
they did say that the Black Obsidian Namestone, set of the Grand, whatever, blah, 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 is, represents the 13th Company that has been lost in campaign or claimed by dishonor. Only a handful of outsiders know they exist, and so they're not saying that they're completely, doomy McDoom-doomed, but there's a chance we might see a supplement. I welcome that.
Which didn't the old codex have it as they're off fighting? We haven't heard from them in a while, but we know they're kicking butt.
Yep.
Well, it even says it in here. They who hounded the 1,000 suns into the warp during the Horus Heresy.
Yep.
Where is it in this book?
Which doesn't really fit with what I've read from the Horus Heresy book.
Yeah. Well,
The Thousand Suns just kind of proved their way into the war, straight up.
well, they chased the bumper of the car that drove into the war.
But there was no car.
No, that's just it. They poofed into the warp. The 13th Company went, okay, we're going to go into the warp, and we're going to find you.
Okay.
So they just got their rune priest to just go, I'm not a psyker, and just...
No, it wasn't a rune priest. It was one of them ones with the snouts, and they just smelled their way in.
No, they used a new wolf slave.
Yeah. Radagast the Brown lent them their wolf sleigh.
No, Santa Grimnar. Santa Grimnar.
Yeah, I'm more a fan of Santa Grimnar.
I feel you. I have to poop on things that are a lot better than mine.
Yeah, but you play sisters. That's everything.
I know. So, it's the standard formatting, like the Orc Codex. All the fluff pages have all the rules. Your symbols are in the top left corner. Your points are in the top right corner. And let you know what everything is.
Keep an eye on those symbols.
Symbols.
Yeah, those are very important in this
You will
book.
know when you look at some of those symbols, some things are not where they're supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
Like, and you might want to tell them about their unique force organization.
Yes, unique force lord.
So let me look at this force org chart. Okay, notice that there's 2 HQs that you have to take, right?
Mandatory.
Minimum 2 HQs. And then look at all of them. That's not artifact or my computer being derpy. They could have 6 HQs in one force org.
More than that, think about it. They can have 6 HQs.
Yep.
Plus, they can have their formation.
Yep.
Plus, they have an independent character troop choice.
Allies.
Plus, they have an independent character elite choice.
Yeah. So now, what I've come to the conclusion, what we need to do is take all of the Space Wolf characters, and obviously they all get converted for this. All the Space Wolf characters.
2 independent elites.
Yeah, 2 independent elites. The
Murder Thing and Arjack.
So
The independent trooper.
the independent troop, which is the Lucas the Trickster, all that shenanigans, and you build one big independent character unit, right? And because you have the character Dreadnought that's obviously Hulk.
No,
because he's got claws.
He's an elite character. He's
No,
not
not that.
He's the Hulk.
Yeah, okay.
Murder Thing's an elite character.
Okay,
He's
so
the other elite character.
Hulk smashes. He goes elsewhere, but you have
Airjack.
you have Arjack. Arjack is obviously Thor because he has the hammer and he throws it and gets it back. That's obvious. What else?
Ragnar Blackmane was Widow.
Yeah, because he's got the deck shenanigans. The character Dreadnought with there's a character, or not character Dreadnought. It's the Venerable Dreadnought with the Storm Shield
And the Giant Axe.
The Storm Shield Giant Axe, and you can hit people with the Storm Shield because
Yeah,
it's not a Storm Shield, but it's a Storm Shield.
That's
That
right.
thing right there.
This thing right here.
That's
You wanna get that closer.
Captain America.
Wait, does that mean that you take one of these wolf fly death machines, you call it a Quinjet, you just make that
Yes.
Yes.
a
You haven't heard my rant about the stupid jets yet, but I'll get to that.
They're fair and
But
balanced.
you can build the
No,
and then-
no, they're not. And I'm a Space Wolf player.
and,
No,
you,
they're not.
and you take Bjorn as Iron Man and all that dumbness, and you have the Avengers team.
Have you run the points on that yet?
No, not at all. I don't
Like
care.
8,000.
And then and a Wolf Lord as Coulson
What?
because the Wolf Lord is Coulson, obviously. And
Wolf
then
Lord on the Thunderwolf Mountains. He's always
and
driving around. on
Lucas the Trickster is Loki
Of course.
because reasons.
Prominent member of the Avengers.
Huh?
Loki.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, he's obviously the blackest one of everything in here, and that would be Blackmane, right?
There you go.
No.
You already said
Oh.
Black
No,
Widow.
Black Widow.
However, they do have a murder claw.
No, Murder Claw's Hulk.
Shut your
You
mouth.
make the claws purple.
Murder Claw was
No.
Murder Claw was Hulk.
That'll be Harold Deathwolf because
Oh,
the
yeah.
wolf is his awesome SUV of Murder House. Yes.
I think we're really pushing.
No,
We are
no.
pushing it. It's
All work
ridiculous.
to the Slayer.
Oh, dude.
Oh, there you go.
Yep, there it is. Yep.
Come on, Chaplain, your ass off.
Yep. I don't remember asking you a goddamn
And
thing.
Nijal's Hawkeye.
Yeah. So anyhow,
Ironic.
getting past all that ridiculousness, I believe they solved up your babysitter problem.
Yes. They did solve the sergeant problem. You can pay 10 points and turn one of your people into a Wolf Guard battle leader instead of having to buy an elite choice and then divide it up.
Yep.
Be very careful when purchasing gear for your Wolfguard battle leader for your blood things, whatever the troop choice is.
Blood Claws.
Blood claws. Do not prohibit them from going all out. That would be bad.
Oh gosh. They are a pile of points.
I need your help on something.
Upcoming disembodied Woody.
No.
To the rescue.
Woody, by the way, I'm gonna need your rant about the Wolf Scouts after you're done.
Okay, so 1,000.
So the Dreadnoughts are a pile of silly. Go back onto those. The Dreadnought, if you buy the Venerable Dreadnought upgrade for 25 points, you can give it the Big Dumb Axe and the Big Dumb Shield, the Fenrisian Great Axe and the Blizzard Shield. They are not unwieldy weapons, although a Walker would ignore that. So it does get the additional attack.
It's just GW saving the ink by not printing unwieldy.
Right, but it does a thing, and it becomes super choppy, and then it has it gets to do the venerable thing of ignoring the first penetrating result and reroll another one. On top of having a 4-up invul.
No, 3-up invul
three-up
front
invul.
arc. Front arc only, but 3-up invul.
Disgusting. You say drop that thing into the
For 145 points.
Yep. Super amazing. Okay. On top of being awesome, Murder Fang is, of course, interesting, and it's a perfect rival for the Blood Talon.
Murder Fang's interesting because it has Rage, it also has Rampage, it also has It Will Not Die, which means it can regenerate hull points as it goes along.
Yep.
It also has Murder Lust, where it ignores Crew Shaken and Crew Stunned.
Yep. Also has Strength
Doesn't
7.
he have Alf's head on the side of his armor right there?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Oh my
he kinda
God.
does.
Right?
He killed Alf.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, it's hilarious.
I'm just saying.
That was
Do
good.
we call that an Easter egg?
Congratulations. Yeah, that
That's an
is
Easter egg.
definitely an Easter egg.
Let's see here. What's up with Lone Wolves?
Lone Wolves are the same. Exactly the same.
And they're still using that same old iron.
Oh, yeah. Check out the amazing old Iron Priest model. Oh.
Brand new book, 20-year-old model.
Yeah.
Right? Like that model is older than some of the people playing the army.
Yeah, but it's probably the only person that's ever used the Iron Priest. I don't know, Ethan. When's the last time you used the Iron Priest?
I've never ran an Iron Priest.
Even the bolter on the model is just
I don't even
like,
own the
right
model.
out of the
Yeah, I don't
80s.
either.
About that. Or servitors. Why do you get those?
Oh yeah, Steel Armors.
That way there's people to kill.
No.
Okay,
You
without
get servitors if you're a master.
without giving the Avengers squad a Stormwolf to represent the Quinjet, it's 12-15.
Yeah, America.
Wait a minute, which means you throw in this. That's a 1,500-point army.
1430. You have 70 points of upgrades you can do.
Awesome, I can do this.
Hell yeah.
And that's how many models in that army total?
The Stormwolf, Murderclaw, Bjorn, Najal, Ragnar, Ulrich.
You gotta add it.
Well, if we're gonna add, it'll go over 1,500.
Okay, he's
Yeah,
a background guy, but whatever.
Or we take out the Quinjet and add Coulson in.
Yeah.
But it's less than 10 models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
Super amazing.
It's like even with the Quinjet, we're at like 7 or 8 models. So even throwing in Coulson, you're at 9 models.
Damn.
Quickly looking at the war gear list, Bjorn can take weapons from the Dreadnought weapons list. He has free access to the freeze raid thing.
Yep, he does get a freeze ray cannon for free.
And he can pay for a twin link
Blast cannon, and he gets a plasma cannon for free.
Yeah, so he has a bunch of weapon options. It's fancy. I was wrong. I was believing that they were going to give them only access to cold-based weapons, but no, they have meltas everywhere. Melta.
Long Fangs do not get access to a Hellfrost cannon of any type.
Oh,
They still have the normal.
best unit to beat up, no matter.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm just commenting because I know there was a lot of rumor mill about the Long Fangs getting a freeze cannon. They are not getting a freeze cannon. They get their standard weapon loadout, which is still perfectly fine for Long Fangs.
It only looked obvious that they would get them in the cover of the supplement or the cover of the Long Fang Edition rulebook. The blue glow on the frosty glow.
The other nice thing for Bjorn and Murder Fang, the character dreadnoughts, they can now take a drop pod.
Yep.
That's good.
That's right, because I couldn't even take it before.
Correct.
Since we're talking about dedicated transports.
Oh yeah.
Ah, here we go.
Here we go.
All right.
Just a warning to everyone: rant incoming.
Hi. I want to play Elysians. Elysians are cool because they can take flying dedicated transports. Okay? Yeah. So, remember that 16-person transport thing that looks like that, right? Right there.
Baby Cessna.
Well,
Yeah, half assessed.
Grey Hunters can take a Stormwolf as a dedicated transport.
Blood Claws.
Blood Claws can do it.
Wolfguard.
Wolfguard can do it. Obviously,
Dreadnoughts
Dreadnoughts can't. They got that thing.
But they got the drop pods.
Wolfguard Terminators can. Basically, anything in this book can take that as a dedicated transport, with the specific exception of Longfangs.
Why? Because forget you, Longfangs.
Because you can't fit the bleachers in the Stormwolf.
We can fix 16 models, but we can't fit your last cannon. Sorry, dude. Gotta walk.
Yep. This is assault weapons only.
Take a drop pod.
So drop pod raceback or Rhino only. Yes.
Which, if you're taking a Rhino with them, you're just missing the point anyway.
They still have all three variants of Land Raider. They still have
Cost the exact same. That did not get a point drop.
They still have access to Predators, Whirlwinds, Vindicators.
Whirlwind's got cheap. Whirlwind's got dirt cheap.
Still have access to Land Speeders. The Thunderwolf Cavalry, they're still amazing.
Thunderwolf Cavalry dropped 10 points a model, and the Storm Shields for them dropped 15 points a model, and you can give every model in the squad a specialist melee weapon.
Because they weren't devastating enough. That was nice that they put Thousand Suns head underneath the...
That's actually a bit in the kit.
Yeah.
I'd consider getting the kit before just for the 1,000 Suns bits.
Yeah.
And see, I used to run them in the old book just straight, stock, naked, 50 points a model. They come with rending and just buzzsaw through stuff because you've got, umpteen attacks to begin with out of 3 models.
Yeah.
Yeah, with rending.
They don't
With
need a whole lot of help.
You're using orc math. Just throw a whole bunch of dice, you're going to get some 6s.
They did clean up the immobile rule for drop pods once it's entered play. Accounts in all respects as being suffered an immobilized result, but it does not lose a whole point from it.
Question.
Yep.
In Bjorn's rules, does he still have that thing where if he goes down, he becomes injured?
No, they did not.
They took that out.
Oh, and I was wrong again. I thought Bjorn would be a Lord of War choice. He's not.
Nope, he is still an HQ.
He is got a fancy skull up here. So he is an HQ. The only Lord of War choice
Is Santa Grimnar.
Santa Grimnar Radagast. So let's talk about this dumb jury he has. Oh, no, first we talk about the dumb Axe of Mordkai.
It looks a lot more cornate now, which is really nice.
You are not kidding. That is the most cornate axe ever.
That's more corny than a number of actual corn kits.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like a ton of cornate.
Kind of
Which,
embarrassing.
well, not really when you remember the fluff about the Axe Mordkai. It is actually a warp artifact that they found and gave to the Grey Wolves.
Yeah,
It actually came straight from the warp.
yeah.
Nothing sinister about that.
But like Space Wolf breeding processes. So it has 2 different ways to swing it, one-handed and two-handed way. The one-handed way is strength +2, AP3, and it's a melee weapon. Hi, Tim. And then two-handed weapon, strength ×2. And then AP2, melee two-handed unwieldy, so it's the choice of you swing at initiative at strength 6, or you swing at initiative 1 at strength 8.
The difference for the Axe Mordkai between the old book and the new book is one-handed, and they increased your strength by 1.
Which, don't forget, the old book predates the Axe rule.
Yeah.
So, really all they did was they just simplified that verbiage.
Yeah.
Both the Chariot and Grimnar have a 4-up invul. Oh, and the Chariot treats all penetrating hits as glancing.
Yeah. Well, so about that open top thing. Yeah. Whatever.
Not so
Yeah,
good.
get +1 to the penetration.
Oh.
And you can charge out of the
And while he's writing it, Logan Grimnar gets 4 additional melee attacks in close combat at strength 5 AP dash.
Because of his bunnies.
Yeah, because of the Thunderwolves pulling the sleigh.
Now, wait, forgive me if I'm wrong here, because I haven't really gone through the 7th edition rulebook so far. Whatever. I've been picking and choosing and learning. The Chariots, do Chariots get Hammer Wrath to begin with anyway?
Yes.
They get a special hammer back.
So you get a special Hammer Wrath on top of bonus attacks, on top of being a badass.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can do that.
I have no idea how many attacks on charge this thing actually has.
So Lord of War is a pretty decent slot for it.
Just get your cube out and roll it. This.
He is 320 points on his Santa Slave.
He's 11 with Hammer of Wrath on the charge.
Oh God.
Yeah, we're not even counting the hammer ref.
Then he's 10 on a charge.
The cherries get more hammer ref attacks.
Okay, then he's 10 on a charge.
Right.
He's 5 base, 1 for charging, 4 extra attacks.
Yep. Yeah, he's a
I'm
pile.
curious now. And yes, I'm showing my ignorance, but whatever.
That's cool.
It's kind of a good thing to go over since we've got a chariot in the rule book right now.
Yep. Great company. Great company is a formation, formation in here. It requires a Wolf Lord, a Wolf Guard battle leader, a unit of Wolf Guard, 5 units of Grey Hunters, 1 unit of Wolf Scouts, because Woody would be sad if you didn't take Scouts, 3 units of Chosen.
No, not 3 units of Chaos Chosen.
I was gonna say,
They're chaos now.
Chaos. Because obviously these are the real Cornet people.
13
3 units
they
of
came back a little messed
Chosen
up.
from the following of Blood Claws.
Yeah, basically 3 newbie squads.
Yeah, 3 of Blood Claws, Swift Claws, Sky Claws. Because keep your feet on the ground, but evidently you're not going to because you're damn Elysians.
And then 2 units of Longfangs.
Because, duh.
And apparently 1 unit of Grey Hunters has to take a standard.
Yep,
And
and
would you
then,
mind doing some math for me a little bit? Did you check to see how much one of the Grey Hunter squads and a Razorback? Does anybody remember the Razorback spam list from last day?
Let's see, Razorbacks 55 this edition.
I'll go for the Grey Hunter.
While you guys are pulling that up, the Chariot in the current edition gives you D6, Strength 6. So we can't even really tell you how many it gets. It's just a lot.
Well, it's a minimum of 11, maximum of 16.
Grey Hunters are 70 points base.
Okay. 70 points.
A Razorback went up to 55 for us.
Okay. And what was the classic pattern? Was it last class for them last edition? Do you remember?
It was last class or Twin Link class.
All right. What's the last class?
Okay, so 75 for the Razorback.
75. So what's the total cost again?
145.
145.
So they are cheaper than my Rhino spam. Okay.
145 unless you're giving them close combat, and then they're 155.
Okay.
And that gives them their normal loadout, bolter, bolt pistol, close combat.
And 6 times, that's 870 points. That's a lot of army left.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it this way. My sister squads are 155 with their immolator, with a multi-melta, and adding a priest on them for 55 makes it 200. They're still dirt cheaper than sisters.
But nobody cares
and
about
that's,
sisters.
That's 2 bolters, 2 meltas, 2 flamers.
Yeah, and that's only a 5-man. If you throw in an extra one, you're looking at another 16 points, so 155 becomes 171.
Yeah, with last cannons.
With last cannons.
Or with,
With either a twin link last. That gets you the choice of either a twin linked heavy bolter, a twin linked heavy flamer, a twin linked assault cannon, a twin linked last cannon, or a last cannon twin linked plasma gun.
Okay. Did Thunderwolves change in points at all?
Yes, they dropped 10.
Dropped 10.
And their gear dropped.
Because they were
dropped.
obviously over-costed.
Yeah.
So the army that was available last edition that was taking tournament seasons early on is not just back, it's cheaper than it.
Yeah.
Yes.
They dropped 10 points per model. Storm shields for the unit dropped 15 points per model.
Oh, that's good.
And every unit in the squad can now take a specialist melee weapon.
Oh, okay.
Oops, that's another thing I got.
Space rules are absolutely fair and balanced. Never let anybody argue that.
Both.
Another thing to note, Lone Wolves, they changed how a glorious death works. It is no longer you give up victory points if they survive. It is you are no longer a scoring unit.
So I had to add something to my list of things that I'd never ever get to play with. You know, being cavalry or bikes.
One of the things I want to bring up about the Space Force Codex is that your metagaming environment's not really going to change by the Space Force Codex as far as I can tell in first glance. Yes, they can do all kinds of new things. However, they don't do the Necron trick with Red Basket as well as anybody else. The Flying Croissant Brigade is still more efficient at what it does. They do use flyers, yes, so does Guard, so does everybody else. Most of your local environment's still going to be prepped for flyers. The only difference is that they're going to outflyer other Space Marine factions because their flyers are just as efficient and in some cases cheaper.
And they come with better guns.
They're 215 base for the troop transport. The gunship, which counts as a heavy, not a fast attack, is 220.
Which is right on par with the Storm Reaper.
But on top of that, the Stormwolf has Twin Link Las standard.
Yes, it has the twin link Telfrost cannon, twin link glass cannon, and 2 twin-linked heavy bolters, which you can either replace the heavy bolters with Skyhammer missile launchers for free, or 2 twin-linked multi-meltas for 20 points.
And I will point out that because of the this rule book, flyers can opt to use their weapons as Skyfire.
Yes.
They can add that rule.
But my point is, they're not going to be fielding enough of them, given the points, to really skyhammer the crap out. Number 2, we're already used to Space Wolf Razor Span. That's not a big deal. Anybody who's played me knows it's very easy to defeat. It's an army. I love you, man.
If you roll a 6 once in a while, it might help.
Yeah, well. In any case, everybody, what I'm trying to get at, though, is anybody who's running heavy vehicles, there's going to be at least one of those assholes in your environment. That's really me, and him, and him,
Blood Angel Razor Spam.
and him.
No, I try to do a mix of ground sluggers and vehicles.
Yeah, he likes land speed.
Yeah,
That guy likes
Scout
land
Company.
speeders. Don't
So
say
that guy likes scouts.
Scout Speeder Company. That's what he plays. Scout Speeders.
I still want to see all those land speeders from.
So the Space Wolves aren't bringing anything new to your table meta. What they're doing is they're giving Space Wolves an update to get caught up to your table meta. So there really isn't too much of a need to freak the hell out. You will buy a 4-sword chart and basically emulates the whole.
I might throwing this in those. You have all these, you have this army does this really well. You have this army does this really well. This army does this really well. I'll actually throw it out there that the Space Wolves do it all A-, B maybe, but they're packing all these different things that other armies can do into the Space Wolf book.
They do it all competently.
They do it all competently.
I mean, the only thing that's brand new that I can see in this codex are the Hellfrost weapons.
God.
The Hellfrost weapons are basically giant freeze ray cannons.
Yep.
They have Vindicator range, so 24-inch range. They
You're
have
putting on a flyer. Who cares?
they have 2 different attack profiles. You can either use it as a dispersed fire, which is a strength 6, AP 3. If it's the troop transport, it's a small blast. If it's the heavy, if it's the
gunship.
The gunship version, it's a large blast template. The focused fire version is a strength 8, AP 1. For the troop transport. For the gunship, it is a strength 8, AP 1 lance.
Because, Space Wolves need lance.
Sorry, Eldar, you're not the only one.
Longfangs did get the option to take flak missiles with their missile launchers.
Which we saw coming.
So
Yeah.
you guys were missing high-strength shooting.
We were missing flyer shooting. That's what flak does.
Yeah, the flak missiles were something that most other books
No. For justifying having lance. You guys were lacking high-strength shooting.
At best we had was, we had multi-meltas and we had melta guns, but other than a Vindicator, we didn't really have a whole lot of high. We had las cannons, but
Your argument's invalid. It's a goddamn freeze ray.
yeah.
I know, but you get my point.
No, I get your point.
I'm excited to see conversions involving freeze ray.
I'm interested to see how many people are actually going to take the Stormfang and convert it into the Cestus Assault Ram from Forge World.
There's one.
Yep.
The irony is that I'd be taking 2 of these excellent models and turning them into a larger, much higher points cost shitty model because I really want the modeling opportunities.
Yep.
What is Forge World 1 for Cestus?
They can't give you one.
They can't give you one.
They back ordered?
It's literally been out of stock for over a year.
Nice.
Because before this book came out, the Cestus Assault Ram was one of my 2 options for a flyer. And for my opinion, for the Space Wolf fluff, it was the only option for my flyer choice.
So you're going to spend $200 and duct tape 2 models together.
Actually, it's not that bad. It's more like 100.
100.
Shut up.
Don't forget tax.
162.
Yeah.
Plus tax.
It's only a left arm.
Here I go back to the blood bank.
It's only,
And honestly, you may no, because you need both front ends. to
it's
make
only,
the
it's only like
Cestus.
3 donations of plasma. It's fine. 3 quarts.
Assuming they'll take your blood.
True.
I don't actually have that option. I have been declared mad cow infested. That might explain a few things to me.
No.
But yeah.
All the pieces fit.
Oh, wait. Let me get Woody in here for a scout rant.
There we go.
Scout
Get
range.
your arm in here, Woody.
Yeah.
Get that disembodied arm in here, Woody.
Let me find the Wolf Scouts. What page is it?
Tell him how much
cares?
better they are. Is that what we're at? Is telling him
World Scouts right here.
No,
you
no,
go,
no.
buddy.
He's already
you
set
go,
up
Woody.
his rant.
So the scouts.
Here, I'll show that, and
Okay.
you can get over here and do things.
Don't forget the squeak. It's very important.
So
Okay.
they are 2 points more each. You get full ballistic skill, full weapon skill. You get counterattack, acute senses. You also get a fancy, very fancy options at the bottom of the page. If you see there, up to 2 Wolf Scouts may replace their bolt ones with a plasma pistol or power weapon for 15 points. And a single Wolf Scout may take a heavy weapon or a special weapon. This means that you can have up to 4 plasma pistols and a plasma gun in a squad that can infiltrate and get to firing range at full capacity with all their weapons first turn. At ballistic skill 4.
Yep.
I would like to point out for the Wolf Scouts, they lost a huge thing that was in the old codex that made them why a lot of people took them. They lost behind enemy lines.
The only reason I ever took them.
They can no longer come on your enemy's board edge.
They lost a super cheaty rule that made them not have to think to use them. Yes.
I'll put it this way.
Melted gun in the rear armor is just too much fun. We can't allow them to have that.
The difference in between showing up on your opponent's board edge and the far edge, back corner of the left or right edge is nominal. You're still collapsing a flank with it. So.
Most things you're hitting with a melted gun, it doesn't matter that you're hitting rear armor or front armor.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Team Jacob can't have it.
Wow. He was
Oh,
there.
Blow.
that's another thing about the Flyers. They have ceramite armor, which means melta weapons do not get the extra d6 to penetrate them.
Wah, wah.
Wah,
Wait, don't
wah.
those wolf-tail talismans and tooth necklaces also have that protection to decorate that hull?
Uh,
That looks like they'll go for an atmosphere.
Yeah, it was fine.
we actually lost our wolf tooths and wolf necklaces, speaking of which.
Oh, man.
Runic weapons grant adamantine will.
Yeah, which is pretty much what they basically what they made the errata into. When they FAQ'd the weapon, they said it added 1 to your deny the witch roll, which basically means they gave rune priests adamantine will. Now the nice thing is because they took out our anti-psyker bubble, they did give our rune priests the option of taking psychic hoods now, which we did not have last edition.
Well done.
Sagas have become our warlord traits, and some of them have radically changed. Some of them haven't changed at all. Saga of the Warrior Born only works in challenges now, and it only gives you twin linked. Saga of the Wolfins unchanged. Oh no, Saga of the Wolfkin got better actually, because not only do beasts and everything get to reroll their leaderships, they also get Fury's Charge.
That's pretty good.
Beast Slayer's unchanged. You still get Monster Hunter. Saga of the Bear, you no longer get Eternal Warrior. You get Feel No Pain at 6-up.
That's shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saga the Hunter's unchanged. You get Outflank and Stealth. The only difference with Saga the Hunter is since it's a Warlord trait, you can put it on someone with Terminator armor.
Sneak, sneak. You gotta model that Terminator. Straight up.
Saga of the Majesty is unchanged. Basically, any unit within 12 inches rerolls morale and pinning.
At least none of the sagas just give you fear, so.
Yeah.
Wonder if you,
As a
in
Space
the
Wolf
Arms
player-
Corps, I know that. Can you make the Terminator do like the Shaggy dance and Scooby-Doo show? Or
Yeah. And a series of doors for them to not walk in
There you
and
go,
out.
yeah.
It'll be fun.
As a Space Wolf player, I am sorry that my Saga of the Warrior Born is not on my Wolf Lord stock.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was 135 points. Forget what the Codex said. He was minimum 135.
Whatever, you can re-roll into it.
Yeah.
You
But
can
if
do
but if
that
I
for
but if I
us.
roll like Dave, then I'll never get it.
Hey,
No,
hey,
for,
hey,
for Saga of the Warrior Born, you want to roll like Dave because that's the number one
Yeah,
on
you'll
the
be fine.
Warlord trait.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah.
And, if I love James Hetfield's favorite band company, Space Marines, I'd totally be in for that.
Yeah! Yeah! End of every line.
Yeah.
That's why I like Call of Cthulhu, because, it's just,
Oh,
they just play music.
that's
And
right.
he shuts up,
The
drinks a glass of water.
the formation. It's worth noting that it does get a special rule. The formation gets the standard Battleforged rules, the Jarl of Rust, which allows you to reroll your Warlord trait when you're picking from the Space Wolf Warlord traits.
Come on, Warriorborn.
You get Cunning of the Wolf, which is before deployment, roll a d6 for each unit in this formation, adding +2 to the result if the unit's battlefield role is troops, and it has been joined by an independent character from this formation. On a 6+, that unit gains Outflank. In addition, at the start of each of your turns after the first, you may select one unit from your formation to automatically come in from reserves, no need to roll.
What?
It comes in. Now, these are the standard things you get for playing a Battleforged Space Wolf army. The special one the Great Company formation gets is the Howl of the Wolves. As long as the formation's Wolf Lord is alive, all units in this formation have Fear and Furious Charge.
Because, you know, fear is actually applicable in this game. So.
Yeah, they get Furious Charge.
They get Furious Charge.
And the ability to make your opponent roll dice sometimes.
And I will say that
Sorry.
having the majority of your units outflanking is a watered-down version of the old, 3rd or 4th Edge 13th Company.
Yeah.
Which
So-
I know there were people crying about it when this book came out. So
Oh, yeah, the cries.
GW finally appeased me.
What are you writing?
Bravo, Dave.
Okay.
Bravo.
Are we ready to move on from Space Wolf stuff?
No,
Yeah.
no.
No? Yes, no?
Yes, no. Some things I think they added that they shouldn't have added for fluff, just for fluff reasons for the Space Wolves. Our Terminators now have Deep Strike. Space Wolves, in fluff, Space Wolves never used teleport technology, and the reason they never used teleport technology was they didn't trust it. There was only one Space Wolf that ever used teleport technology. He attached it to his Thunderhammer so he could make Mjolnir.
No, no. Who's Meow Meow? Oh, Darcy. So, yeah.
Oh, and the Hellfrost rule for the Hellfrost cannons, because that bears mentioning. If you have a multi-wound, if you have a multi-wound unit that takes a wound from a weapon with Hellfrost, you must pass a strength test or be removed from game. You are not killed. You are not a casualty. You are just removed from game.
Get off my, stay.
Bye-bye, Celestine.
Yeah. Yeah, so, trust me, I'll run Celestine. She's a trap. She is a trap.
By the way, the Dreadnought that can take a Storm Shield can beat people to death with it.
I think I mentioned that.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
In
Captain
passing,
America.
yeah.
It's Captain America because it could beat them to death. And he gains a +1 attack for additional close combat weapon.
Yes, he does.
Really Storm Shield.
Yes.
Bang, bang.
It's a Blizzard
Bang, bang.
Shield.
Yep, and it's AP2 hit. That's
Yeah, Strength
of
User AP2.
And the reason why it's important is if somebody weapon destroys your dumb axe,
But you still got some
you're just like,
The Fenrisian Great Axe, the Strength ×2 AP2 melee master crafted.
yeah, because
It needed to be mastercraft.
because a venerable dreadnought needs master crafted. So, Dave, I was thinking of going into our lovely section here.
Oh, a little problem we had.
So we got a problem.
Uh-oh, this should be good.
No, GW messed something up.
So, Dave and I played a game. I brought my derpy sisters against his like 7,000 bolters on one rhino, and I had a squad out there, and they had an independent character in the back of the bus because that's where elite priests belong. And he shows up with his fancy bikes and his million guns and stuff, and shoots out the whole unit from underneath them, right? And all that's left is an independent character. May they assault that unit?
Problem.
When does it become a independent character?
At
Because
the end
last
of the-
edition it was in the moving phase.
I'll answer this. According to the fancy book,
Oh, Jesus.
if an independent character joins the unit, all other models in that unit are killed. He again becomes a unit of one model at the start of the following phase.
At the start, so I shoot you in the shooting phase. As soon as the assault phase ends, sorry, can't touch.
Oh, It gets better.
Yeah.
We went a little bit further down this rabbit hole.
I argued against this, but I can't find anything in the book to give me teeth to grab a hold of.
Wait, you're wrong again?
No,
So-
I don't know.
Think about
This
the
is the scary part.
implications of said unit being destroyed and the infinite character going, I'm a new unit. So what if I accidentally did something like Warp Flame on him? Does he retain the token? The answer according to the book is no. He's a new unit, which means he doesn't have any problems with the old unit he had. Is he pinned? No! The old unit's destroyed. Can you assault him? Nope. Not the same unit you shot at. That's part of the problem we're having. It seems like the rules as written and the rules as intended are having a little bit of a conflict here.
So we're gonna write ourselves an FAQ question.
But had a question. I thought if you shot a vehicle and blew the vehicle up, you could assault the troops inside.
Does not refer to the passengers as a unit.
It refers
Okay.
to the passengers.
Yep.
Okay, let me take this down the rabbit hole a little bit more and go with the Dark Elder and the pain tokens.
That's just it. It's a new unit.
You would get another pain token if you killed it.
So I can still.
So if
You-
you
you
manage
would
to-
double.
No, no,
Yes,
I'm
no
talking
crazy
about
tricks.
the homunculus and whatever, and taking the pain tokens as he branches off and things like that. So that still works then.
Of course.
Okay, I understand.
Here's the really funky one that'll bend your head. So let's say I have a unit that consists of independent characters. What happens there?
As in Farsight's the 8.
It's a really awkward situation. Every time I shoot somebody, at the end of the phase, they a new unit.
Wow, that makes Space Wolves really nasty.
I
You
don't-
can make an 8-man independent character unit.
Enough about the Avengers.
So it's something we want our viewers to phone in on. Obviously, there's plenty of forums out there that can help out. Obviously, GW and its infinite wisdom has not provided much help on the subject. So we're asking you. Me and Ed came up with a house ruling that helps us. In fact, me and Ed came up with a couple of house rulings this week to help us get through our games.
Whoever
But
argues
for
on
this particular one, I'm curious to see what the populace thinks. Now, popular opinion is, in fact, that regardless of the wording of the rule in the book, because he was a member of the original unit, he is simply a new unit for basic mechanic purposes from that point on, retaining everything he had before, which makes thematic sense. However, there's nothing mechanically backing up. Please find it for us.
There is an alternate. No, that doesn't work either. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that.
I've got another rules question that came up in a game I played in. It doesn't matter now because they got rid of our wolf tooth necklaces.
You answer your own question.
Yes.
Self-solving problem.
But no,
Next
no,
question.
in case it comes up with other things. There is a psychic power that says in close combat you always hit on 6s.
Uh-huh.
this.
Now, I know there's other units like Karn the Betrayer who always hits on 2s or 3s. Which one do you go with?
The one that says always. I know they both say
They
always.
both say always.
But this one no longer says always.
No, but Karn the Betrayer does.
I know.
The
So
standard
new space
logic
wolf.
would be, if you come across rules that aren't directly contradicting, but do have a problem in the game state, obviously you go with roll it off. And some people roll it off each phase. Some people roll it off for the turns. You roll it off. Look, it's complicated. Work it out amongst the gaming group. Number 2 is a lot more impractical, but somewhat knowledgeable. And there's still 2 schools of thought on that. Number 1, you go with newest printing. Newest printing trumps, which is awkward in the case of Chaos Codex.
Yes.
And the other half of that team is go with Codex always trumps rulebook. So these don't actually solve your problems, but they are potential
But you're talking-
solutions.
Well, you're talking Codex trumps Codex at that point.
Actually, no. We're
Which
talking
Codex
Codex trumps rulebook.
Trumps rulebook. It's a main rulebook psychic power. It's invisibility. In close combat, you
yeah.
always need a 6 to hit.
Which that psychic power needs to go away.
Everybody loves Invisible Wraith Knights, Ed. Everybody.
Yeah, everybody does.
I love them this much.
You just stabbed actual.
I want to love.
Would you like a proper stab?
No, I'm fine.
All right.
I got that assistant.
The thing we came up with that I thought was actually kind of appropriate was the person whose actual phase it is, as far as the turn goes.
That's a good one.
Whichever one benefits them is what's on top.
My turn.
So that way, when
my
your
call.
opponent goes, their stuff goes off. When you go, it's for your benefit.
That's no way to do it.
My turn, my choice.
This is too Burger King.
All these are by your I highly recommend you bring up this subject matter in your own personal group, because it may be that not everybody's on the same page until it's too late.
Yep.
And it gets awkward. So, discuss amongst yourselves. Your house rules are yours. Make sure they're standardized amongst your house, wherever it may be, whether it's your living room, local game store, or someplace in some random park. Play outside.
Yeah, park.
Which don't do that here right now. It's really windy and there's rain in the desert. It's scary. Don't do that.
Water from the sky?
In fact, tonight we're getting more.
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah, it came from that away. It's coming this way, and we're here.
Oh, it's lemon water?
Lemon water.
Yeah, lemon water.
Did you make God cry?
No, I think
No.
No.
He didn't do it.
Michael
the new
Bay.
Ninja Turtle
Yeah.
movie did it.
Oh
Michael
my
Bay
God.
Movie review. Do not
my
see this
childhood.
abortion.
Ninja Turtles plot was worse than Necron revamped background story.
Yes!
I would have gone with Ultramarines, but
Nobody cares about
potato
those.
potato.
Apparently, the movie was worse than Black Templars just getting shoved into a supplement for Ultramarines.
In my opinion, any Space Marine chapter that gets
That's a movie-
is a good one.
that's a
I
movie
got
that
a
needs to
little
be squatted.
opinion about my tales.
Yeah, the movie needs to be squatted.
Squatted.
Wait, it means what kind of Tyranid infestation are we talking about? Oh, wait, a good Marvel movie, which we're getting tons of.
Yep.
Speaking of which, I would like to point out, for movie's sake, this is how you do it in games. In games, you put clauses in the back of your book telling people what the hell you're about. In movies, at the end of your credits, Guardians of the Galaxy. There were no raccoons or alien trees harmed in that movie. They said so. And the Ninja Turtles, not a goddamn mention about turtles in there. They hurt the f*** out of those turtles.
Also,
Taking that.
that's a bad movie, so we will not.
Games Workshop even tells you this is a goddamn hobby game.
I think there's somewhere in the back of the Space Wolf Codex about there were no Thunderwolves hurt in the making of this codex.
For real?
Yeah, I think so. I think I saw it somewhere.
Any likenesses or appearances in this book are truly metal.
And we will sue you if you do things that are kind of like ours.
This means you, Chapter House. Oh, dude, slimy.
I told you you were stabbing pizza.
I'm emphatic.
You actually hit the pizza through that?
Yeah.
See, now I'm glad I didn't give you my
You're a doofus.
This is why we can't have
also,
nice
new
things.
release this week, very brief fall, Stormcaller, a book about space wolves being doofuses on a planet. The only person that can stop it's Stormkiller. He goes out to the planet. If you're a Space Wolf player, actually got 4 stars out of the reviews. If you're not a Space Wolves player,
Yep.
There's also
So does he
another
actually
one.
have tags on his storm collar?
Yeah, it says Team Jacob. That joke never gets old.
Oh,
So basically, the script of the party is that all the dude broskies show up, right? And they're gonna have this intergalactic kegger, and this is the only idiot that was smart enough to bring the tap.
it gets better than that. It says the Klingons show up at some Lorgalorg planet, and the Klingons, I mean more Space Wolves, show up and they get angry. And then Jurgen shows up and saves the day. Meanwhile, the Empire might be destroyed. Jurgen, the end.
Again, the Empire is being destroyed. It must be Tuesday.
Yep.
I can't find it right now. Battletech players have buried it.
All right.
Battletech players.
I'm gonna show off the toughest girls in the galaxy stuff that showed up. Let me grab things.
What in the world
For
of
those
dirt?
of you that don't know about Toughest Girls of the Galaxy, get your ass to Kickstarter now.
Uh,
Toughest Girls of the Galaxy is put out by
Raging Heroes.
Legion of Heroes?
Raging
Raging
Heroes.
Heroes, thank you. Raging Heroes not only succeeded in their Kickstarter, they have started a second one, or will be starting a second one next week, with the new Sisters of
Eternal Mercy.
not Games Workshop model. Sisters
Yes.
are not Games Workshop. And I highly recommend you pick up on the Kickstarter. Number 2, you get down to your local goddamn game store and you make them your drop site when you order these models. Because when you do that, not only do you get your models from your local game store, which the company does, I just got a little happy package. Not only did they give me some free models, and I'm a modeler, and I got hippos. Hippos are fucking awesome.
Yeah, which I will show off.
This one has a hippo with beard, which is even better. Okay, they
That's
gave
kinda
me
good.
wholesale distribution access to all of the Raging Hero models from here forward.
And that means like the blood vassals, which are amazing. The mantis warriors, which are almost Ruiz,
The demonettes
Diaz demonettes. Yeah, all those fantastic
I
models.
heard they have wolves.
The main point is,
Yes,
before
they
Ed
have
shows you
wolves.
these models, understand that if you can get the drop site for your store, you can get access to these models on a regular basis for really good retail rates, as opposed to waiting for Amazon or eBay or Bob from accounting or a Steve, because nobody likes waiting for Steve.
Their Kickstarter lines are going main line, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So bottom line is, you thought you were going to be a glorified mailbox, and they go, by the way, here, have some stuff.
They made me a wholesale distributor. Yeah, it was a bonus. Your game store owner will appreciate it, and they understand money. You understand games. Make your game stores get them.
This is one of the regular kits, the blood vestals.
They vestal once.
Yes. No,
These are not demonet
These
models.
are the not dark elves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's the mantis, not the
So they are fancy. And that's the fancy backs.
How would you rate the sculpts now that you've seen them in person, Ed?
These sculpts or those sculpts?
Sculpts from them in general.
They are roughly equal quality of Weird, so top tier.
Wow. And Weird's got some of the best models in the market.
Yep.
Oh my God, it doesn't have bubbles like Finecast.
Yeah.
No.
These
Not
are
everything.
I could have for equal price I could have gotten these in white metal whatever pewter, or got them in resin. I went with resin to see what their quality was. I'm gonna disjoin this camera. It's gonna shake around all weird. So if you have seizures,
Earthquake.
go ahead and do those now.
No. I can see Shaggy.
Never a good thing.
Why would we do that to people?
So this is what we're looking at
That is a
here.
crotch. That is definitely a crotch. There we go.
So
That's a boot.
There's a lot of crotch in there.
There's a crotch.
yep,
And boobs.
yep. That's one of the Jump Pack girls. That was the Kickstarter exclusive. This is one of the other freebies I got.
Do we have that sniper round still?
No, that's Josh's. And that is an amazing model. I just got some of the freebies, but I'm getting a ton of the troops.
Dude, I'm having Rocketeer flashbacks.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit.
But how amazing is that model?
That's some good detail too. I haven't seen detailed coat like that since Confrontation.
Yeah. And note that they put the names on the backs. That's just really, really kind of cool of them. And just amazing detail. And then they did these really cool freebie, critters.
That's the puppy's ass. That's another butt. There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
Pirate puppy.
You've got a Saint Bernard hippo.
Yep.
It's got the rescue alcohol on its back.
Yep.
So that's just amazing.
That's worth your Kickstarter money right there.
And they say dope and beer, right?
Yeah.
Dope the hippo, give it beer. And then the cyber cat.
The creepy creep sauce cat of Mr. Bigglesworth. And then they threw in some cool freebies. We got these beer coaster things. Actually, Dave specifically got these. I got one of these in my packs. And it was kind of cool to see that they had like custom tape that they did for.
Really, Ed? What about the tape?
You're going on about the tape.
It's cool. It's a nice little touch.
It's nothing I paid for really, and they got like it was just kind of cool packaging.
So you're going to try and save the tape?
I already saved a bit. Shut up. Hey, we're gonna show you. Show you. Is that about right?
Yeah.
For one brief blurred moment, just like the Bigfoot, you saw Woody.
Yeah.
Woody, yeah.
Yeah, disembodied.
Might have to go back and freeze frame it. But he's there.
I don't actually.
You'd be walking kind of like with a loaf.
It's just an arm, maybe two sometimes.
Close that thing now.
There's nothing connecting them together.
So you're like Haunter.
Yeah,
It's good to know.
without face.
Right.
Like,
And-
I can see its future.
I hope it's dark. So things and stuff.
Oh, I got these.
No, we did that last time.
Yeah.
We haven't done any work on it because we got busy.
Sorry.
I got, the story with these is I got commissioned to make some chaos spawn of Nurgle. And, you know, I did. Had a lot of fun making them. Yeah, lots of green stuff. I just about killed the two that I had.
Moral of the story, never throw away your bits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I will always find a use for your bits.
And these were for Anthony, right?
Yes.
Yeah, these were super cool. I like them. They're better than dumb green stuff abominations I've made.
Yeah. Anthony, by the way, collects people who he can hire for commissions. Currently, he has 6.
Stop dropping
there
the
were
green
3
stuff
models.
models.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Now it's 2 amazing and 1 kind of fell apart.
Luckily,
it's
that one, he's like, they're pretty.
Yeah, these are
Green
good.
stuff is kind of integral to them, so it's.
Yeah, they got some Tyranid bits all over them.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I actually happen to have like a squad of plague bearers just bouncing around my bits box, so that was helpful.
Bouncing.
So
And
I
then the
have,
weird Sarlacc pit thing, those are actually the ribs from the Terrorgeist kit,
Oh,
the
yeah.
dragon variant.
Yeah.
And I was like, I saw those and I was like, I want to do something big, nasty teeth, because they look really good for teeth.
Yeah, it's like, nah, it's not right. With that cool tail coming out from the
It
Chaos Spawn.
almost really looked like, Ed, that you were trying to eat a Nurgle biscuit.
Yeah.
Dave would have actually put it in his mouth. So, yeah, that's Pile Fancy. We ignore these things because they're things.
They're all Terminators painted up in Space Wolf colors.
Yep.
I beg that that's a cow.
You know what? I can see it. Show it. Show it. It's a little cow emblem.
I need a
That
backdrop. I need a
little
backdrop.
bit so they can actually see
I need
it.
a backdrop. Right about there.
There it is.
Oh, that is a cat.
Yeah, Space Cows.
Ooh, Space cows.
Just give them a couple horns off the Chaos Kit. And you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, there's only one thing we forgot from the book.
They're Minotaurs.
No. No.
There was one thing we forgot from the Codex. They did drop one other HQ, new one, named one.
Oh, yeah.
They dropped Harold Deathwolf.
Oh, they
He
need
looks new. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I wasn't sure if he was in the old one or not.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. It was just Canis Wolfborn for a named one on a Thunderwolf mount. Now we've got Harold Deathwolf.
because you need 2 on Thunderwolves so that you can run your Force Orc with nothing but people on Thunderwolves. I forgot.
Yeah.
Well, they changed it. Harold Deathwolf has the all cavalry and beasts within 12 inches of him use his leadership instead of their own. So he got the old Canis rule. Canis got him and all Phoenician wolves and cyber wolves in his unit reroll failed to hit rolls during close combat assault phases on which they charged.
So he's a Thunderwolf chaplain now.
Pretty much.
can you still do the Fenrisian Wolves as troops?
Yes. No. No, you can't do that anymore. They got rid of our you can use these as troop choice options.
So I can't do the Space Marine Army with no space.
Correct.
Darn.
The other nice thing they gave Harold Deathwolf was Mantle of the Ice Troll
I
King.
got his kind of stuff.
Harold Deathwolf is immune to the Pyromancy Psychic Power list and all Flamers.
Period.
What about Malta?
No, it doesn't say Melta.
Okay.
It says Pyromancy and all Flamer weapons. Period. The end. It doesn't touch him.
Now is that like Flamer and Heavy Flamer, or is that stuff that uses the Flame template?
All Flamer weapons. So like the Promethean cannons, the
As defined by the rule book, and it does group them all together.
yeah.
Okay.
The other nice thing about Harold Deathwolf is he does have a Storm Shield. So you have a named HQ on a Thunderwolf mount that does have an invul save, because Canis still does not.
Candace is intelligent. We forgot to get the Iron Halo.
He forgot to get the Belt of Rust,
The
which
dude
is
was
apparently
raised
the
by
Space Wolf Iron
wolves.
Halo now.
He was raised by wolves. Be happy he knows how to wipe.
There is no
Yeah.
Iron Halos in that whole book, right?
No, it's Belt of Rust.
That's not just the
Belt of
armor,
Rust
right?
is the Space Wolf Iron Halo.
Yeah, because +5 con belt. Yep.
No, that's the 4-up invul belt.
Yeah.
There is a new relic armor they gave us, which is 2-up armor, 4-up invul, and you get all kinds of other shenanigans for it too.
You can get
Shenanigans.
rage and furious charge. Like your unit gets furious charge and you get rage.
No, that's the Wolfenstone.
Okay.
Where is it? Armor of Rust. Oh, that's right. When you're fighting in a challenge while you're wearing the Armor of Rust, because it has a freeze aura, all your challenger is at -5 initiative.
There it is. Oh.
Bye-bye, Gene Stealers.
So you basically got to be Slaneshi to even have a chance.
Yeah,
Slanesh doesn't.
No. Or you could be paladins with halberds and other rape things.
Don't you die.
Lalith from the Dark Eldar.
Yeah.
You've got a negative stat? Or
Not
No.
initiative.
Initiative's not
And it
stat.
specifically says drops you to 1.
Okay.
Won't drop you below it.
Okay.
We got a melee weapon with Hellfrost and Rending. Because, one or the other wasn't enough.
They said that one was in challenge, right?
Yeah.
In challenge, you get the -5 penalty to initiative.
Their little 10-point gun is actually pretty nifty.
So I gotta make.
Oh, the
I gotta
Blight of
make sure you
Fenris,
get a
yeah.
song.
It's one of their Hellfrost guns.
Blight of Fenris. It's a bolter. You can either fire at rapid fire Hellfrost or rapid fire ignores cover.
Heavy bolter, strength 5 AP4.
Yeah, strength 5 AP4. Rapid fire, no 3-shot, but
Not
it's still
three
heavy
shots,
bolter
but it's still
stat.
heavy bolter stats.
Yeah.
Oh crap! There's something else to talk about. After we're done, wolf, team.
For 10 points, that's nifty.
So looking at the relics, you can build a Wolf Lord that has that armor, that has the Hellfrost and Rending sword, that has a helmet that lets you re-roll all failed to hit rolls. In addition, your shooting attacks have ignore cover.
Do you have a piece of war gear that just says you win the game? Let's go
No,
get a
not
beer.
quite.
Not one war gear. You have to buy a big piece
The
of
Yeah,
Wolfen
it's a la carte.
Stone, which gives the
It's like
unit it's
Zodiac.
in Furious Charge and the Bearer Rage. You have the Black Death, which is a Strength +2, AP2 melee unwieldy with the Whirlwind of Death, which says if you're outnumbered in close combat, you gain 3 attacks.
Oh, so it's super friendly.
I need more Melta.
I need more Melta. Yeah. And that is the extent of our relics.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, we got really nice relics, but we didn't get a huge number of them.
Yep.
You got one more than Space Marines because I do not count Crappy Banner as a relic.
Oh yeah, what is our banners now?
We did lose. Did we lose completely the Wolf Standard from the Grey Hunters?
No, right here, Wolf Standard. 12 models, banner, reroll, fail, morale, and pinning tests. In addition, all friendly models, all friendly units with the Space Wolf faction within 6 inches of the banner gain +1 attack.
Okay. So we did lose it because the whole joy of it was to charge into combat, pop your banner, and you go, hey, look, I hit you on a 3, reroll my 1. I have a 3+ armor, reroll my 1s. Basically, it made you Terminator armor. You only fail on a 2.
Yeah, but they gave you +1 attack always instead of just a 1-shot.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Granted,
I consider that a fair trade.
I miss my Terminator Grey Hunters.
Wah! I don't know what that was about. There's that awesome Cornate. It's Corn Axe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
more cat.
That thing is amazing. Let's move on to whatever the White Dwarf thing is, and we'll be hopefully done.
It's not a whole lot of stuff in there.
Yep. The one thing that is fancy pants for the back here, it says Sanctus Reach continues Hall of Fame and a trip to Titan. The next Sanctus Reach book deals with the Grey Kniggets. So who knows what happens? There might we don't know. There might be a 2-player box that has Grey Knights in it.
Fingers crossed for Drago falling.
Yeah, I want Drago to acknowledge that he's a Slanesh bitch, and we can move on with that. There's a battle report in here where, unlike when some of us get armies and they go against a Chud army like Tyranids. Yeah, no, well, Sisters went against Tyranids, but they go up against Chud army. The battle report in between Space Wolves went against Taudar. Taudar. So
With the new codex?
yeah, with the new codex. So yeah, no right to complain.
How'd we do?
1. Yeah. They cover it over quite a bit of the deal here. And they did a Maelstrom game, so it was a pile of shenanigans.
Let me guess. Space Wolves got into combat and Tau packed up.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, but there was Wraith Knight and the fancy flyer flying around.
Oh, and Derpatrons.
Yep. There's Imperial Knight floating around. Wait, maybe that's the wrong section there. No Imperial Knight. 2 of the flyers, Drop Pod, Santa, Grimnar, 3 Space Wolves.
Because no one can have just one flyer.
Yeah, looks like 3 units of Dudemans. Yeah, that's a thing. Versus Wraith Knight, 2 Darpatrons, a for some reason 1 broadside Avatar of Cain, a Wraith Lord, 6 speed fancy bikes, a unit of Fire Warriors, and a unit of Stealth Suits.
No, Celsius.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it was 1,500 points versus 15 and change. Yeah, 15, 12. Yeah, and then they talk also about the tactical objective cards that come with
Space Wolves.
that Space Wolves get their fancy new tactical objective cards for the Maelstrom missions.
Yeah, which luckily, if you don't want or can't buy the tactical objective cards just yet, they are in the book for you to randomly roll off on.
Yay, Yamaka edition. Shoot, that's a thing. They don't cover much else. There are no rules in here. There is an extra mission. Where'd that mission go? No time for peace. Rules of engagement. Fancy mission. It looks like corner deployments. Has a weird board shape. Long edge should be 3 to 5 feet long, and narrow edge should be 2 to 4 feet long. Looks like 500 point armies.
I was gonna say a 2x3 board. That's
And yeah, and he is asking for a weird. Jervis is being odd. He says both players pick a 500 point army that consists of exactly 5 units, none of which can have total points value of more than 100 points.
what?
Games Workshop does make units that have less than 100 points. Wait, they do. 70 point like scouts.
No, can I point out the book again?
You don't. Oh wait, you could take Thunderwolves because those obviously had to get reduced in price.
Right.
No, you've got to take
I'm
a
being
base
funny.
3. So.
I'm being funny. They're probably 100 points now.
120 for the base 3 man.
Oh gosh, you were almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have taken 5 units of Thunderwolves and then 5.
I just want to do 5 Wolf Lords.
No.
Yeah, because you can. They start at base 70.
Yeah.
So you can even upgrade.
Dude, I
a little
even
bit.
get upgrade to
Agent
No, I'm
Five
sorry.
rune priests.
105. 105.
Oh,
Agent Coulson will not approve of this.
Rune priests, however,
Yeah, you can
start
do
at
that.
60.
okay.
Rumor is kicking around that Warhammer Visions is going to be integrated into something else, but who knows?
Does anyone even buy Warhammer Visions?
There are some people that do come here and buy Warhammer Visions because they like the fancy art book. It makes good toilet reading. I mean, not reading, viewing.
There's people that bought the Lord of the Rings models too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like
Teach.
both of them.
Yeah. Actually, I think we sold a Lord of the Rings set recently.
I'm gonna guess
Did
it
they
was
realize what they were
Balrog.
buying, or
Yeah,
did they think it was 40K and you were just out of stock?
they were big Lord of the Rings fans, and I'm not going to besmirch them. They
I know some people that are planning to pick up boxes of them for no other reason than when they run Middle Earth RPGs, they have models to hand out to people.
yeah, that's true.
That's not a bad idea.
That's what I'm saying. I know people that have bought the models. I know people that paint the models and love the models. I don't know anybody that's ever played the game.
Yeah.
Jeremy has. He's
I
in the
played
other
it
room.
way back when it first came out.
Yeah.
But even then.
There is a good Nurgle Demon Prince in there, the big fat orc. Yeah.
Yeah,
Goblin
a little
Goblin
bit
King.
of green stuffing, and that's, yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. Okay. I think that's a wrappy fancy thing. They don't really go through the pre-orders were Logan. There's 2 online, so Arjax Shield Brother, Grimnar War Council. Champions of Fenris is a hardback book.
Arjax Shield Brother is actually going to be a nice release when it comes out.
7 models.
It's Arjax Rockfist, 5 Terminators, and a Land Raider Crusader in the kit.
But you're not going to ever put anything in anything but the flyer, because
I will never run more than 2 of those flyers. But that's me.
I will never buy
I'm
it.
gonna save
I will
this
not
just in
run it
case he
just
does.
for principle. My boots stay on the ground. I'm old school.
Let me rephrase. Unless it's an apocalypse game, I am never going to run more than 2 flyers.
there's a painting guide. Yep. Painting guide, Companies of Fenris, the fiction book for Sanctus Reach, and the Ice Claw book, or audio drama. That's it. We is done. Flip the couch. Boop, boop, boop. Everybody say goodbye. Bye.